Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Bold Life Podcast. This is the Check on Your Bold Sister series. Let me turn this music down a little bit because it does feel a little loud. Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's, everyone. I'm just really excited because I had to sit back and think about it. And I thought, oh my gosh, it is only January 11th, and I'm already on my third podcast for this year. And I am just thrilled. Why? Because in 2022, 2022, I kind of, felt this, I felt this urge, this challenge where I wanted to push myself. I wanted to challenge myself. Okay, here is, yes. Good morning. Happy New Year, Jill. How are you doing today?
Happy New Year, Tracy. 2024, let's go.
Yes, let's go. And I just started thinking about, can you believe that in 2022, I had felt this urge, this challenge where I said, I want to start getting more, I want to be more involved in social media, right? But for me, I can only move if there's meaning behind it. And I felt like I wanted to do something meaningful and I want to get involved in this space. And I challenged myself and I said, Tracy, in 2022, I said from August to November, you are going to do a podcast every week. And you're going to talk on camera for 30 minutes live. And you're just going to do it. And, and I would plan and do, but I did it. And it was exciting. But you know what? Here's the thing. It paralyzed me. Because then after that, I just didn't know what I want to do. But I'm excited because today, I'm really pumped up about our podcast today, our series today, because I honestly feel like this is what I've been called to do. But before we even get into that, first of all, I just want to introduce my special co-host guest for this series, Check on Your Bold Sister, Jillean Battle. Go ahead, introduce yourself. Introduce yourself before we get into it.
Thanks, Tracy. Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to do this with you, because like you, I decided I really want to be bold. My word of the year is connection.
Yes.
So I think to start this off, it's a bold connection with what we want to talk about this series.
That's right.
So I'm Jillean Battle. I'm a Californian, originally moved to Indiana to be an attorney. I'm a mom with 2 kids and 2 fur babies. And I love the fact that today I get to be intentional about what I'm doing with my time. So who I am is a bold woman who can pack her power and use it to connect and empower other women.
Yes.
So this is such an exciting opportunity for us. So sisters, thank you again for allowing me to contribute to Check on Your BS.
Right.
We need to check on each other.
Yes. And you know what? So let's. I'm going to just kind of give it just a brief. Can I briefly talk about how we connected? Okay. So awesome opportunity. As part of the Indiana Republican Diversity Leadership Series, and being a part of that program, I wanted to make sure that I really was intentional about making connections with people, just finding a way. Now, and I'll be totally honest, I was scared, a little nervous, because I was just like, people are going to be like, who is she? And what is she trying to do here? But I said, you know what? I'm going to be intentional, saved everybody's email information and sent out an email to everyone. And I said, okay, I'm going to see, hey, at least I did it. You were the first person to email me right back. And I was like, no, I think you called me. And I was so scared because I didn't expect. Honestly, I'm just, and I don't think I told you, but we're being bold today because we got, what I mean? Yep. And I was just like, I was like, oh my gosh. Because like I said, you have a resume. That's awesome because I met you during the state convention, what I mean? So, and I was just like, oh my gosh, you're such a powerful person and you know what you're doing. And so when you responded back, I was like, oh snap, I don't even know what I'm going to say because I don't know what the bold connection is really going to look like. But I was just willing to put it out there. And here we are today.
Well, so first of all, thank you for emailing me because it's about that connection.
Yes.
I'm grateful that what you said to me was, Jillean, what I perceived you to be, this high, powerful, big resume person, you you're grounded. This is about us
Yes.
connecting. So since the great thing is I see you, I see myself in you. Right, we are women trying to make a way, trying to
Yes.
empower and encourage one another. So for me, it would really be, why wouldn't I connect with you? Why
You
wouldn't I
know what?
answer your email? Why wouldn't I try to make time for coffee, lunch, dinner, or wine? You hear me? If that's what you
Okay.
want to do.
Okay. Let's not leave out the wine. Let's not leave out the wine. Okay.
So yeah, I thank you for reaching out, because since that time, and I shared this with you, just our conversations,
Mm-hmm.
every interaction we've had, I've walked away feeling good. I don't feel isolated. I feel like I have another person in my corner speaking positivity and life into me.
You know
Um,
what? Thank
it's,
you.
it's what we
But
need.
it's the same. It's reciprocal. Definitely. It's because, and I think that what I had to tell myself, even when I questioned, like, oh my gosh, you would reach out to me and want to do something with me. And then I thought, you know what? Why not though? Right? Like, I was just like, why not? Because I see myself in you too as well. Right. And so I was just like, you know what, I can do some things too. And maybe that's why, we've connected, because we can see ourselves in each other. But then we've also know that we've both experienced just some experiences that we've gone through, that we realize that, we've got to find a way, even though through those times where we do feel like it's heavy and we're doing it alone, we realize that, what, just check on your bold sister. Just check on your Black sister. How about that? Check on your Black sister, much more so, because I'm all about all women, right? Because I believe that as women, we all have this unique experience that we experience in this world as we're trying to navigate this world. No doubt about that. So all women, we have to unite. We must unite, right? But if we break that down just a tad bit more, as Black women, we've really got to find a way to unite and take that time to create that space. And, and sometimes just find a space where it's not so much pressure. You can come. It's not going to be like, where you been? No, it's like, welcome. How are you doing today?
So, sis, do you know how important that is right now in this season? The negativity, and every time I turn on the news, there's just negativity. There's so much to consider. I think about the attacks on DE&I and affirmative action, watching kind of what just happened with the Harvard president. It is so much that you just mentioned, that burden. And sometimes we can be in our individual houses, on our jobs, and feel siloed, feel isolated. And so that's why this podcast, this session on Check on Your Bold Sister, is needed right now. It's absolutely needed for us to check in with one another on things like this, things we're seeing in the world, understanding how to process it and not processing it alone.
That's right. And and I love how you even said not processing it alone, because when you really think about it, as Black women, as we continue to grow and move up in life, and on the social ladder, economic ladder, political ladders, right, it gets a little bit more tougher, right? Because sometimes we just have to work extra harder. That means, I don't even know if that's even the right way to say it, but we just have to put in so much more. It seems like we have to be double perfect, right? Mm-hmm. And so double perfect within a 24-hour, time frame, day by day. So you think about it, what's really taking up our time? Most of the time, we're so focused on trying to be successful, trying to get things done. And then when you look back and you do get a break, then you do feel alone, right? So I think that what this space does is it goes a bit further for that person who may not have that, for that Black professional woman who may not always have, girlfriends for, every month where they can meet up. But at least knowing that you have a safe space where, when you check in, you're welcomed. We don't have to have known each other for 10 years. When you come, you are welcomed. It's a space to talk about what's going on for you. What do you need to be stronger? What do you need to convince yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, people are not cheering us on. How do we convince ourselves that we need this for ourselves? I don't know. What did I say? What?
What didn't you say? I love the fact, I think first things first, you have to know how to cheer yourself on. And I say that because I'm guilty of this as myself in talking to girlfriends, that negative self-talk.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, oh, instead of why not me, we thinking, why should I? Should they consider me? I mean, there is just so much negative talk that we need to first address ourselves. And I hope we get to discuss this further, you and I, is how to address that. And then secondly, focusing on, once we learn how to cheer our individual self on, how do we cheer each other on? How do we literally create a space where we are supporting one another? Because it is, again, it's weighing us down mentally and physically. Like, I'm looking at health data where Black women are, 45% more likely to die from breast cancer and diabetes and cholesterol. And it's like, I think it's the burden we're carrying every day that is taking a toll on us.
Yes. And extra. Go ahead.
No, it's how do we rest? How do we?
Yes.
Where do we rest? We are doing so much as we climb up this ladder.
Yes.
Who's taking care of us? Right?
Honestly. And so we do have to get to that place where, and it sounds crazy, but it's like we have to give ourselves bold permission to rest, right? To say, it's okay. You're going to say no right now to this, and you're going to say no to that, and you're going to say yes to me. And you've got to, and the thing is that we have to be able to own that for ourselves and say, you know what, I'm going to do it for me. Here's it, because for me personally, I know that for a while, before I decided to start Be Bold, Be You, for a while, I was just looking for validation from other people, right? I just wanted people to say, Tracy, you are awesome. Tracy, you are organized. Tracy, you know what you need to do. Tracy, you've got things together. Tracy, go ahead and go do that. And you know what? I wasn't finding it. I really was not finding that. I was not getting that. And when I finally got to a point where, I was in a fork. If I would have went to the left, I would have went to a place where I would have just said, forget it, because nobody believes in me. So forget it. What else do I need to do? But for some reason, something stirred up within me. Right. And it was just like, you know what? You keep wanting other people to believe in you and you want other people to accept you, but you've got to make the first step for yourself. Right. So I'm not saying you've got to do it alone by yourself, but that first step to say, you know what? I realized that I have the power to choose. I have the power to choose the right thing, choose what I want in this life. I'm not going to accept that, defeat. I am going to promote myself. Even if I'm the only person in the world, I'm going to believe in myself and I'm going to walk that bold walk. And this is what the bold life is, right? Like, I mean, what came up for you as I'm saying that?
Tracy, almost what I'm hearing is, if you're going to do it boldly. Like, whatever it is. I mean, bold should be the adjective for the description for everything you do. If you're going to rest boldly. If you're going to work boldly. If you're going to play boldly. Like, I think for us, especially me, sometimes I'll commit to something, but in my mind, I am rethinking it over and over again. Am I making the right decision? And I think back to what you said, the connection is, we feel like we can't make a mistake. We have these extra standards, these higher standards, these extra requirements on us that it honestly causes us to hesitate at times and to rethink and to question ourselves.
Yep.
But if we get that mindset that whatever we're going to do is going to be bold, it kind of eliminates that playback in our mind of, is this right? How will people think? What if it doesn't work out? If I fail, I'm going to fail boldly.
You know what? And here's the thing. And it's so funny because even when you say that, nothing is considered a failure until it doesn't work out right? Like after you do something and if it's successful, then it's like, oh, it's great. But if it doesn't do the thing that you want it to do, we call it a failure. We call it a mistake. And when you think about it, no, it's not that. It's data. It's information, and I think that was one of the reasons why I had to start this, right? Because I started planning. and I started editing. And before you know, I wasn't doing anything, right? Because that negative self-talk was telling me, oh, Tracy, no, don't nobody want to hear what you have to say. Nobody wants to hear anything that you have going on, and it was just like, but my moment of reckoning was, but Tracy, do you want to hear what you have to say? Because that's the problem. The problem is it's not about other people. It's about, Tracy, what do you want to do? Do you believe in yourself? Do you, and it was just like, you know what? But I mean, after I taken the step, you realize that, a connection is needed, but it still goes back. We've got to give ourselves that bold permission. And sometimes we got to give ourselves that bold permission to say, you know what? I'm not going to believe that lie that keeps playing over and over and over in my head. You know what? I'm just going to accept the fact that it is just a thought. It's a thought that I've been entertaining for such a long time. And because I've entertained that same thought for such a long time, let me give myself grace and realize that my mind is not going to change overnight. Like that thought process is going to come for a while, but when it comes up, how can I give myself bold permission to say, that's not true about me. That's not true about me. And then find a new truth, right? Like, I don't know.
Tracy, it's funny because I have girlfriends in my life that when I do say something, I have that negative self-talk actually come out of my mouth. They'll say, reword that.
Oh, yes.
Like, reword that.
Yeah.
And so I understand. I think having a girlfriend who check me and adjust my crown for me to let me know, wait a minute, baby, I don't know what that was, but what came out of your mouth is not the truth of who you are.
Yeah.
That connection is why it's so important that we have that tribe around us, because it's human nature for us to doubt. It's, we are people having these human experiences, and sometimes those missteps, mistakes, learning opportunities that convince us we're not worthy. When you have a tribe around you to tell, to reaffirm you. That's, I think, what progress looks like, right?
Yes.
It's like, no, you're going to do it, and we're going to do it together.
Yes. Because how will you know what it's going to look like until you do it, right? And I think that's sometimes the flaw in that logic, right? Like, once I get it together, then I'll do it. But how can you get it together if you don't do it? Like, where is that, that thing, right? And I love how you said the crown, because that's exactly it. Because sometimes, we got to remember that we are wearing that crown. Yes. Sometimes it's a little crooked, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it hangs low. But that's what we do as sisters, right? We help each other and say, let me fix that for you real quick. Because, I know I can't be you. But let me just kind of maybe feed your soul a little bit to just kind of, so hopefully it'll take root and it'll grow within you. But hopefully, let me just come and fix that crown a little bit, shake it off, dust it off a little bit, and feed you a little bit. And hopefully, you become your own farmer for growing that. And before you know it, you're branching out to other people, right? But we've got to create a space for that. And sometimes I think as professional Black women, it does feel a little lonely sometimes,
I think one of the best Christmas gifts or gifts we've just been handed, right?
Yes.
Has been the color purple.
Okay.
Throughout that movie, Tracy, if those of you who haven't seen it, please go see this movie, because it's not only about sisterhood. We are getting a demonstration of how women, right, walked around and helped each other fix their crowns, get through their darkest moments, provide each other with hope, love, through disappointment and pain. And I think the whole movie is about not just focusing on the pain, but really celebrating the purpose. Right? Yes. Like there is purpose in this pain. And if you're lucky enough and blessed, you'll have your sisters help you focus on the purpose so you don't wallow in the pain.
Yes. Oh, now I'm going to admit, and it's live on TV.
Okay.
Now, I did not see the newer version, but I did see I rewatched the older version. And it's funny because I think that what kind of stopped me in my tracks a little bit. And so I think it's great. Let's talk about it. Because remember, when we talked about the movie, I think Oprah said that the newer version focused on the joy and not on the pain. Right. And
Right.
so, and you know, it was really funny because as I was watching the older, the 1985 version, I looked at it and I said, well, you see the pain, but then I guess now I'm like really curious because I'm like, well, how could you see the joy in that, right? Like, where was the joy? And so I thought maybe, maybe not seeing it and then kind of saying, okay, where's the joy before I see it? Because I'll probably see the joy, but before that, I want, for somebody who just sees that movie, the 1985 version, I wonder, where could you extrapolate joy, from that, I don't know. What are you thinking?
So Tracy, I think the color purple can be a whole class and should be a class in
Ooh,
college,
you
or
know
a
what?
class
Yes.
in life. You can break down this movie because I think in any season, in every season of our lives, we can identify with each of these characters if we take time to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
The joy in each of these in the movie is how did these women grow? Right? Like you see them at different stages of their lives, and they don't end up how they started.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
things in their life, things happen, good and bad, right? That help shape them into the woman they're meant to become. And I think it's worthwhile to stop and reflect on the themes in the movie, the sisterhood, the pain,
Yes.
the disappointment. Like, take time to really go throughout these characters. What's woven in their stories? What themes are woven? And
Yes. Yes.
the 1985 version is heavy. It's heavy.
Really? See, I loved it. And I think that that's what, and I think that that's where my aversion was a little bit, because I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to watch the new version just yet. Because I was like, I loved the realness of it. And I guess, I was just like, how can you change it? But I wanted to have a conversation first. And then I was like, I'll go, and then maybe we could talk about how I thought about that afterwards. But yeah, I guess I loved the realness of it, I guess, but it did make me upset of course, at times. But, I loved that about it because I looked at it and I said, you know what, even though, golly, life was really hard, they did find a way to make, and I guess for me, that was the joy in itself there, that, it was tough, but, Whoopi's character
Steely,
was
yeah, Steely.
Neil
Steely.
Seely. So her, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, when I say Lord have mercy, when I say that, that's strength, right? But I think that when we think about strong women, we kind of think about like just do that. And I mean, when she said to you do right by me, I was like, I wrote that movie all the way to that point. When she said that, I said, I know you better say it again. I had to rewind it. I was like, till you do right by me. Yes, ma'am. Say it. Say it.
Well, you know what? Talking about where, connecting to where we started, where we talked about the heavy burden and
Yes.
the journey we walk and how tiresome it gets. For some watching the movie, and I have to admit that I have trouble rewatching it because it's triggering.
Okay.
Because sometimes watching it, you're like, man, it is tough. If you're already tired and then you're watching another character, another woman on TV, kind of go through these very unfair, what seems to be unsurmountable problems, right? Like it looks like life is just piling on her and she is helpless. She has no control. That for some, that's triggering. And
that's true.
Yes, what the new version does is, yes, that happens, but do you see the woman she becomes? Do you see not only who she becomes for herself, but who she becomes for her community?
Oh.
It is such a big, like this woman grows from being, I will say kind of a victim, right? She goes through being raped by her father.
Yes.
Given to another man who treats her like crap. To supporting not only her community, like she becomes an entrepreneur, she becomes, kind of a pillar among her sisters. I mean, she supports Sophia's character. She becomes a great example of achieving and overcoming. But I think that's the difference between the first version and the new one, is that I saw in the first one just this hardship, where the second one really highlights, in spite of all, right? Or, you know, you may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning.
Yes.
Joy. I think Oprah was like, let me show you the joy that came the next morning.
Okay. You know what? Okay. And I feel that, you know, and I see that, you know, I can definitely see how it could be triggering. So I like that you said that, because I guess I didn't think about it in that sort of way. Because I did look at it like, you know what, I think for me, I think what helped me kind of even go through now, and I think maybe I compared it to the movie, and that's why I like that part. It's just that, you know what, sometimes things don't change. Like sometimes it just is ugly, and it's not going to change. And sometimes you want it to change and it just won't. And and that's where I ask myself when I'm at that point, what am I going to do? Because sometimes it's real, just like that. It is so ugly. And I just like that it was that ugly, I guess. And she still was that, you know, pillar, because that's what I saw. I was just like, everybody, you know, leaned on her. Because even when I don't remember, you know, Oprah's character in 1985 version, who is that?
So that's Sophia.
So even when Sophia went through all of that, you know, and at the end, when, you know, they're all sitting around at the table, and once Celie's character went into you know, where she's just like, I'm leaving, I'm not staying. And that's when Sophia found herself again, because she said it's like she saw the realness in Celie, and then it's like it reflected on her, right? Because that's what I feel like we're all meant to do, be an example, show up, be that light. And it seemed like it reflected onto Sophia, and she was just like, you know what, now I'm ready to eat. Oh, this is funny. Yeah. I was cracking. I was like, and just to see that, you know what, you can't take away that hardship that she went through, because that is real. But to see that flip, just to me, I just look at it like, you know what, the joy will come in the morning. You better believe. I don't care what you see with your eyes right now, but you better believe.
You know what, Tracy, and I just picked up on this as I was talking to you, because you said, you know, sometimes when we're going through these hardships, we think, what should I be doing? What can I do? Sometimes I think, and I'm from the movie, sometimes it's about just standing.
Yeah.
Just standing and being like, the wind is blowing, but it's not going to knock me down.
Yes.
Just standing. I say that because the hardest part in this movie for me, in both the 1985 and this new version, is watching Sophia's character break. Where at the beginning, when you're introduced to her, she is this no-nonsense, confident, bold woman.
Yes.
She is the epitome of a bold sister.
Yes.
And then you see when she is, beat up by the police, and put in jail, you see her spirit.
Yes.
And for a minute, I thought, her spirit broke. But you know what? I think I will say that she bent. She bent. But what you see when she sees her sister and all the stuff that Celie went through, and Celie helping her, because she would tell Celie, thank you so much, Miss Celie, for helping me.
Yes.
I think I'm realizing Sophia didn't break. She might have bent, but she didn't break.
Yes.
Because you see her, you see the support of her sisters boomerang her back, right?
Yes.
Like, had it not been for my sister coming and giving me hope.
Yes.
Because that's what Celie is to her when she's in jail. She is her hope. Sis, you're not alone. Sis, I got you. You are never alone. We gonna get through this. That is what Celie is doing for Sophia when Sophia is in her storm.
That's right. And I love that you brought up the comparison between Sophia and Celie. Because and I love that, because Sophia did go through this phase where where you kind of see her, this bold sister, being broken down, and then you see this woman, who pretty much started from being down, but she ends up growing to becoming that bold woman. And so it's funny how sometimes I look at that. Sometimes, we may look at ourselves and say, oh my gosh, I'm nothing right now. But we don't know. You never know, because even for that bold sister at that time, she didn't know that, eventually this woman who was broken down, because I remember when she ran to her in the cornfields, and she was like, don't you tell nobody to hit me. Like, what are you talking about? So I can imagine when she was looking at Celie, she was like, look at this girl. She don't even know what she's talking about. But look at how this person ended up being the pillar. I mean, we don't know nothing until you start doing. And like you said, if Celie would have just fought back, I mean, maybe she wouldn't have been, she wouldn't have been who she needed to be. And I'm not saying for people to not fight back, but it's just interesting how you can look at what people do and just say, you know what? I know that if that was me, I would have been like, sir, you got one more time to touch me, because I'm thinking with this mindset. But, sometimes you don't know what somebody, how somebody appears. You don't know what that's going to look like. So it's like, we can't judge even the good cover, even if it looks nice.
Because I literally think that you can have a class on each individual character.
Yes.
What I just heard you say and just kind of acknowledge was that Celie had to grow into the woman she became. The boldness didn't happen overnight. The woman who stands up at that table and tells Mr. I'm leaving was years in the making.
Yes.
Years in the making. I know that the woman I am today and the things and the decisions I've made in my personal life, it has been years in the making.
Yes.
I had to trip over, fall, damn near break my neck and survive to realize, oh, I'm stronger than I imagined. I mean, I think, gosh, Whitney Houston has a song called, oh my goodness. Essentially, it's about being stronger than I first imagined. You see Celie be this helpless woman willing to take life as it comes, just trying to survive. But when she becomes that bold woman, when she steps out on herself and goes, I'm leaving.
Yes.
That is literally the point in her life when she begins to thrive. Literally, I'm leaving, and she opens up her own store. She, she becomes well respected because she starts to respect herself. She starts to believe in herself.
Yes.
And Suge helps her, right? With that. Suge literally keeps pouring into her the entire movie.
And and it's funny how you said that, how it seemed like once she got to that place where she finally decided for herself, things started opening up, because that's exactly what happened in the movie when you think about it, right? Because even with the when she found out that the guy, her father really wasn't her father, but it happened after she left. And sometimes it's like, when you are holding to an imposter version of yourself, it seems as if that imposter version is not the one who's assigned to the blessings that are met in our lives, right? That imposter person is not the one who's supposed to receive those things, right? So of course, nothing is coming to you because you are not in your real, authentic self. But once she was able to shake that imposter syndrome off and, shake off that mask and say, this is who I am today. And then all of a sudden things just started happening. We found out that he's not your father. This guy's your father. He bought all this land. This land now belongs to you. What?
Oh,
all of this before? It was waiting for that bold woman to show up. So all the things that are meant to be hers is going to be hers. But not to that fake person, because that fake person won't know what to do with all that stuff that's meant for the real, authentic woman. I don't know where that came from, but that just came.
Tracy, first of all, I did not. That was, I didn't even see that breakthrough, and how you're right. She couldn't have gotten those blessings in that shell of herself because she wouldn't have known what to do with it. Wow. Tracy, when I tell you this is a whole class, like you can learn love, boldness, strength, resilience. All of these things, these women can teach you, right? If you stop to reflect on it. And I'm almost certain that having a glass of wine with your girlfriends and sitting together and go, what was Alice trying to teach us? Alice Walker, the author of the book.
Okay. Yes.
What is Alice? This is her love letter to us. What is this letter? What is this letter trying to say to us? I really do
Mm.
think that this is Alice Walker and Oprah Winfrey's gift to
Yes.
her sisters. I do.
Yes.
I do. When
Yes.
I walked out of the new version, the 2023 version of this movie,
Mm-hmm.
I said to myself, my sisters are a gift from my ancestors.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
knowing that you guys are having some of the same experiences and walking through and not just surviving, thriving through these
Yes.
difficulties. I
Yes.
said, oh, this is my gift.
Yes.
You are my gift when we are sitting here and you are giving breakthroughs and I'm being able to digest it. It's like, that's what we're supposed to be doing for one another. Not only teaching and supporting, but also loving it.
Yes.
This is the purpose of our lives.
That's right. That's right. I mean, and it took me a while to realize the connection piece that I feel like, you're really talking about, right? Like that connection piece. It took me a while because, like, I don't know, it's just not always easy for me, right? But what I realized even last year, my word was just, first it was growth, right? So it was just about, Tracy, you need to grow, in the beginning of last year. But towards the end of last year, it was just like, okay, there needs to be collaboration. There needs to be connection, because it's like I'm growing, but you can only grow so much, right? Like if you're just, listening to your own thoughts, you're only growing very linear, in such a linear way, right? I believe that, for us to truly grow the way that we're meant to grow, and we have to connect. Because I mean, this, I'm not trying to turn this into a spiritual thing, but I truly do believe that we are all a image of God, right? So if I connect with you, that means that I get to experience the reflection of God coming off of you. You know what I mean? Like, and so that now I get to see a side of God that maybe I didn't know before, but I'm only going to see that when I connect and I hear what you're saying. And then it's just like, oh, God, you chose to express yourself through Jill this way. Wow. Like, this is really cool. Like, now I can see when we all come together, then now we can just really see that there's a bigger picture here. And I love how Alice Walker, I see this as Alice Walker and Oprah giving us this gift to realize, to see that there's all of us, we come in so many different ways, from so many different backgrounds, so many different experiences, but there's something that unites us. What is it that unites us? Are we able to see it, honor it, celebrate it, nurture it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
So let's, continuing on with the thought of connection. Not only are we connecting with ourselves, but if we kind of use this book as a blueprint on how sisterhood,
yes,
what it's supposed to look like, it's ups and it's downs. Because I can tell
yes,
you, right, that nothing is perfect. So your sisterhood, just like you were saying that Sophia started off having a problem, with Celie, who said, hey, you supposed to be beaten like I'm supposed to be beaten.
Right? I know, wasn't that part shocking? It was like, girl. But
Tracy, here's the thing. We're all walking around with some form of trauma.
Yes. Yes.
And one, identifying it in ourselves, and having your sisters help you heal through it.
Yes.
Right? Like, I think this is an opportunity for us to really stop, look and connect with those characters.
Yes.
Reflect on, what our own trauma looks like, how it's manifested in ourselves.
Yes.
In Celie's character, she's only spitting out what she knows. Hey, women are supposed to be beat. This is all I've seen.
Yes. I mean,
right?
Even when she was like cleaning, like there was a part like in the 1985 version, I want to make sure I'm always making that distinction. But when she was like, when her husband came home and he was trying to look for all this stuff, and Celie was just going to get everything. She was just like, it's right here. She stood and she just knew the patterns of every day. And I just thought, wow. Like, like I couldn't even judge that, because it was just like, it just shows you the mindset. Like you said, it's a mindset. Like, you supposed to get beat don't all women get beat?
Right.
No, that was deep. So I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, but it took Suge to show her something different.
Yes. Yeah,
right?
yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
even though Suge is this very, she herself is a bold sister in this movie. What I
Yes,
love about Alice Walker is Alice Walker also showed you her flaws and the trauma
yes,
she's facing, um,
yes,
and how she heals through that, right?
yes,
So you can study this movie on for forgiveness. What does forgiveness look like? How do each of these
yes,
characters teach you about forgiving, right? Um,
yes,
hope. You know, what hope did you pull out from each of these characters? Who showed hope?
yes,
Who's It's like, Mama, let's pick a theme and walk
yes,
through
yes,
a
yes,
character and say,
yes,
how did I learn forgiveness from Suge? Um,
yes. Whoa, wow. I mean, have you thought about that? Okay, because we can say that for another time, but have you thought about that? Because sometimes you got to be bold and on the spot, right? Bold spots.
Bold
Yeah.
spot. Um,
Let's
so
see,
what we do,
forgiveness.
how we're introduced to Suge is we're told that Suge is promiscuous. That's why, she sings this blues. And
Yes,
she's obviously promiscuous. I mean, she's messing around with Celi's husband. And she's not the mother of any of those kids. So clearly
yes,
her and Mr. been messing around for a while.
yes, yes. And the
And she has a
pastor dad. So
pastor's dad.
so it's easier to kind of see. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what's going on right here. Church
Yeah.
girl gone.
Gone
Wild,
wild.
right? Come
And
on now.
and she's drinking, right?
Yes,
So I've been around people who suffer from alcoholism. You're drinking away this pain. You are trying to numb it, right?
mm-hmm.
So as bold as she is, as much as we love her and who she is, we also know that she's suffering.
Yes, yes,
And
yes. And
so, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead. No, because I was just gonna make a personal connection. But so I mean, well, I
Go
was just gonna say, even for me, because I think that sometimes when you hear like, it's just like, oh, Coach Bold Tracy, right? Because I laugh because Tracy means bold. I didn't, and it's funny, but it really does, right? So, but I think that sometimes people think like, oh, you so confident, and it's just like, no, I don't know, my mannerism maybe come off a certain way. But it's just like, no, I started this to really help me stay true to that. Like, because there are times where, like Suge, because you did look at her. I mean, I was shocked to see how she was just like, after her father, because I was just like, she doesn't come off that way. She was on the stage just dancing and shaking and gyrating. And then would come in and walk into her father's presence and say, Daddy. I was like, wait a minute. So and I feel like that's what we have to give ourselves. It's okay if we say we're bold, but it doesn't mean that we're bold 24/7. It just means that it is a journey. It is just reminding ourselves like, you got to do what you got to do until you get what you're really trying to get. I mean,
Yes, Tracy, it's allowing yourself to have grace because you see
yes,
Suge in these very bold moments where the confidence is radiating. It's radiating.
yes,
She's feeling confidence in a whole juke joint, right? And then you see her in her moments where she's in a tub. She don't know where she is. She is recovering from a binge, alcohol
yes,
binge. And so what you get to see is a very complex person, right?
yes,
And so going back to what you said, it allows us to have our moments. Like, yeah, we can be bold these days and we can have our down moments on these days. And it doesn't make us any less of a bold woman, bold sister,
yes,
competent person. Like, no, you are allowed to have these moments these valleys and these
yes,
in your life.
yes. And that's normal.
But sis, guess who's with her, right? When she's in the valley, when she is in that bathtub,
Yes,
at a low
yes.
point in her life, who's with her?
You see, and that's why it goes back to Celie. And that's why I think that's why I love that, but I'm going to watch the newer version, but I think that's why I love that 1985 version, just because honestly, you kind of do want to get mad. Like right now, when you think with this mindset, you're like, oh, hex nah. Like, no. But I love the fact that we see that, yes, it has been that way. But look at how she was able to move forward and be a pillar. Oh my God.
Right.
It just blows my mind.
Tracy, I think the imagery in the movie and in the book is so key. in Suge's position when she's not the bold woman, when she is
Mm-mm.
the woman struggling with something, Oprah and Alice are showing you her sister's with her.
Yes.
Her sister is nursing her back to health. I mean, in a movie, in
Who's
both versions.
down herself? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Who we look at and say, you ain't got nothing to pour out. So, but she did.
Yeah, right. Like, yes, you always have something to give, especially to your sister. And honestly, sometimes, sis, it ain't even about Celie doesn't have money. What Celie has is
Yes.
comfort. She has herself. She's like,
Yes.
I'm here. You're not standing alone. You're not
Yes.
standing alone. I can give you I can give you comfort just by my mere presence, right?
Yes.
So sometimes that's what our wine nights are, when we're having those moments and we just need our sisters around us.
Yes. I know that's right.
Come on now, just you know when I pick up the phone and I'm calling you and I just need to vent. You don't have to give
That's
me
right.
I just need your ear.
That's right. And and I think that's what and that's a great thing, because I think that's a great thing to even point out, is just because that's what it is. Sometimes you don't want to, because I'm a coach, right? I'm a life coach, but sometimes you don't want to, you don't want the advice, right? Sometimes you just say, I just want to vent real quick. I don't want, for it to be analyzed right now. I just want to just talk about it real quick, pour it out and just say, this is where I'm at. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm feeling, but I know I got to get it out, so that I don't hold on to this and drown in these feelings. And I love that, right? That's what these. So, do we have something coming up? Do we have a wine night, or are we trying to? What are we doing?
I am working on that as we speak, because sis, I think sometimes as women, we're always on the go. We have so much going on that stopping to reflect on what we do have. Our sisterhood.
Yes.
I think, like I said, bringing it back to the color purple, it's sometimes we miss out on what we have because we're worried about what we're trying to get. That we don't stop and go, wow, look at what I have. I've got Tracy in my corner, right? Celie had Suge, Sophia had Celie. In these moments where money can't solve your problem.
Say it.
When money can't solve, when the title doesn't solve and make you feel better, right?
Okay, because you thought it would, and then you're like, right,
right. It's that sisterhood that keeps you going. It's that word, that the words of encouragement. It's that vibe. It's that connection. It's the connection that makes you go, I'm blessed.
Yes,
I'm blessed.
Yes.
We gonna ride this thing out together, because I can't do it alone. There is no one in this world who's made it this far by themselves.
Yes. And we have it. And I think that's the thing that I had to kind of try to embrace, that there's not something else that I need to do, right? Like, I have what I need right now. We have it, and like you were saying earlier, if we stop and we look at all the things that we actually have right now, honestly, it's like, wow, I didn't really think about it that way. I didn't realize that I have this gift, or I have this skill, or I have this, or I have this friend. I have, I have somebody. I have things. I'm really not by myself. So how can I start just really tapping out, plugging in? How can we find that way to create that space? How can we just get to that place, right? Like, how can we just remember that we have everything that we need?
That's it.
Right now.
That's it. And what I love is no one in that movie was rich, right? But they were, right? If you think about it, Celie, maybe even it wasn't about money. And it was that when it's broken down to the bare bones, they had each other. And that helped them survive, right? That's literally what helped them survive, is that they had each other in their darkest moments.
Yes.
That's what got them through, is each other. And so that's why being bold, as we walk into this life, sis, and we're bold, we've got to remember that we got each other to help us on this path. That's it. That's what the recipe for bold life is knowing that you have to have your tribe to walk that journey with you.
Yes.
You can't do it alone.
No, we can't do it alone. I don't think we were meant to do it alone. I mean, I don't think we were really meant to do it alone at all. And I think that that's where all this mental health issues are coming from, because it just was never meant to be that way. I think that, we're meant to be individuals, but we're meant to be individuals within a tribe, right? So instead of looking at it like, hey, I'll give my 50% and Jill, you give your 50%. No, I give my 100%, you bring your 100%, but we're supposed to connect. I believe that there is something in that. Let's look at it. The color purple, red and blue had to come together. You know what I'm saying? Like, colors had to, something had to come together. There had to be a relationship for that to even be. That's how powerful you think about it. Like, there was just so much going on in that. But we do have about like 10 more minutes left. And of course, we're going to take this a little bit further, because I definitely want to take this further. So of course, we're going to figure out how, what the next time looks like. But I'm just happy that we were bold enough to even do this, right? Because this is what's needed. So perfect segue into, it is 2024. Everybody got their, their brand new year's resolution of what they're going to be doing this year. So my question to you is, what are you going to be bold about in 2024, Jill?
I'm going to be bold about taking steps that I haven't taken, that I've been trying to muster up in years to take.
Okay.
Boldly stepping in and connecting with my sisters boldly.
Yes.
Without a doubt, how can I be support? Right?
Yes.
And I'm being unapologetic about that. That is my intention, and I'm being very serious about it.
Yes.
I'm betting on myself.
That's right. That's right.
That's it. Knowing I'm having a Celie moment, right? Where Celie gets up and goes, I'm out of here. I'm done with this. I can do better.
Yes.
Out there with my sisters behind me. And
yes.
They walked out in a group, right? They walked out in a group when Celie declares to Mr. I'm out of here. So what I can tell you is I'm boldly stepping out on faith, betting on myself with my sisters boldly behind me. And that direction that God is going to have me in, what I know is I'm not walking alone.
That's right.
And in everything I do, right? Every sector that I find myself in, you're going to feel my presence, because I'm not going to be meek.
I know that's right.
So it's going to be a bold endeavor. And Tracy, just again, I want to thank you as a bold coach, as a bold sister who's leading by example, right? Like, you are leading by example. This podcast, you coming up every week to give your voice a platform. Just that's bold. And encouraging women to be bold, right? And
thank you for that.
You deserve it. No, I'm gonna give you your flowers while we are live. This is no small feat. It takes a lot of courage. So thank you for being bold.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that, because of course I got a lot of questions, but being bold is just saying I'm still going to just move forward with it, right? So and as we talked about the color purple, and you're talking about your goals, we know that hardships can come, right? And of course that's to be expected. So what's going to help you stay focused, right? Like, so maybe this is a two-part question. Have you considered obstacles and barriers that could come into your that could be a barrier for you, for you moving forward? And then what are you going to do to help yourself stay focused?
So interesting enough is I think I often think about the obstacles and the challenges. And while I know they're there, I'm learning that I can't get fixated on those. Because if you get fixated on what could go wrong, right, you lose sight of what can go right.
Yes.
And so in this case, I'm looking at these obstacles as moments that literally define me of who am I going to be. So when I meet this obstacle, I'm looking at it as this is an opportunity to show Jillean who Jillean is, right?
Yes.
I am Jill, and ain't nothing's going to stop me. This opportunity is for me to learn more about myself, not to stop me, for me to teach, for me to learn more about who I'm becoming, right? And so That's how I'm looking at obstacles. They're there. I'm not going to pretend they're there. That doesn't mean I have to fixate on them.
That's right. That's right. So then if you're going to, like, just for fun, right? If you're going to say that there's one thing that you want to be really specific about right now that you're going to throw out into the universe and say that you are going to do one thing, what is it that you're really saying that you're going to be bold about specifically?
I'm going to be bold about teaching.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of empowering. What I do know is in my connections with people, I want to empower them. I want to help them discover inside of them, what's often uncovered and buried by trauma, self-doubt, right? So I feel like teaching is a way that I can help people uncover who they really are. And so if I can say with all of my connections, right? How am I going to connect? It's really teaching. And to be quite honest, what setting that is, right? That's something that I'm still crafting, but I'm very open to how I'm supposed to be used. But I know teaching, which is going to help me empower others, is what I'm going to boldly step in to this year.
Oh, I love that. Yes, I love that. Teaching. And I think that is great because it really does open you up to opportunities of just being, right? Because you get to now be yourself and teach. And I love that because I'm definitely going to be following you on that, because the next question is going to be, what's coming up for you? What's coming up for you? So, because usually we end the show with, some bold wisdoms, but before we do that, what's coming up for you that you want to share? Is there anything that, any events that you want to, put it out there and just say, hey, come follow me here. Come check me out.
Well, you know what? What's interesting is I have a few speaking engagements that I'm very excited about, and I'm going to post them very soon. On January 20th, I'm speaking at the Junior League. We are having a conference called Be Your Own Barbie. And so I get to speak on that, what that looks like. But what I can tell you is what I'm walking away with, and what I hope I'm empowering people to see, is you have the authority to take back your power.
Yes.
And if there's anybody who has shown me that, and a great example was Seeley. Right? I get to take back my power. And I'm boldly stepping into that, and I'm boldly encouraging my sisters to do the same.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And you know what? And I'm going to take that as my cue. Is like, that's what I'm being bold about this year too. Right? Like, because as you were giving me flowers for, even starting this show, oh my gosh, like it was hard though for a while. Even last year was a struggle because I just wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about and what I wanted to be consistent about. But, finally I did come up with the BS, right? So now I can put everything together under BS and say, okay, Black sisters, bold sisters, business strategy, blind spots, belonging statements, just everything that I love to talk about. I can just talk about it under the BS. And so what I'm being bold about is just doing it. Oh my gosh, just stepping out and doing it.
Tracy, can I remind you that you are divinely curated? Every experience that you've had that led you to this point was on purpose.
Yes.
So using that, literally, what did these experiences teach you? Even the most painful ones are the most important.
You know what? Because the last one was the most painful, but it pivoted me to this, right? And I think if anything, that's what connected our story even much more, because the same thing. It's pretty much the same story, but you're right. Yeah, it's exactly that. And so, we still have about like 2 more minutes. So anything else that you kind of want to add? Because, we'll just at least fill it up for the hour.
I love this. Tracy, what I hope that we walk away from is the only people stopping us is us.
That's right.
And so just so long as we know that the only enemy, if there is no enemy within, then no enemy outside can do anything to us.
That's right.
Just walking into that, knowing that you're not alone, making sure you check on your BS, right?
Yes.
Checking in on your bold sisters is going to keep you connected. But more importantly, it starts with the individual, and you are divinely curated. Every experience was on purpose. So tap into that purpose, right? Don't
Yes.
focus on the pain. Look
Yes.
at the purpose and then
That,
celebrate the joy. That's what
I
I'll
know
leave you
that's
with.
right. Thank you so much, Jilly. You know what? I'm just want to say thank you so much for all the viewers. So it is 2024. Expect so much more with Check on Your BS. Definitely check on more with me and Jill on this. And you know what? Until next time, the bold life belongs to everyone, but only a few are bold enough to live it. So my question to you is, are you a part of that few? Until next time, bye.
Bye-bye.